Hey everybody, it's Paige and Gretchen again. And okay, Gretchen came across this extreme commuting story. It's talking about how people are doing, because of the economy, people are doing these extreme commutes to get to their jobs, and it's just fascinating.
You know, it's interesting because I think prior to the economic fallout that we are experiencing now, people had started making these decisions to commute an hour and a half, 2 hours, one direction, because of quality of life issues. They wanted to have a bigger, nicer house. They couldn't afford to live, you know, in the large, you know, metropolitan area where they were working. I mean, we had that when I was living in California, where our community, which was 80 miles east of San Francisco, was had become a bedroom community for San Francisco.
Right.
And so people, I mean, and of course the commute was just horrible, and there was no real public transportation to take advantage of at that point. And so people had kind of started making those decisions just because they thought they could get a nicer house and a nicer community with nicer schools and stuff. But the issue that we have now is that people are kind of trapped in their homes. They're in a situation where maybe they're upside down with their mortgage. They can't sell them, and yet the person who was the breadwinner who had a job has now lost his job or her job, and is faced with finding a job anywhere. And sometimes that job can be very far away. And there was something on the news just the other day where this man, the job he could find was 900 miles away from his family. And so he would leave Monday morning, 3 o'clock in the morning to go to his job. He had rented a room in the community where he was working, and he stayed there, and then he would come back Friday. And I think, it's one of those things where, I mean, it's taking a toll. I mean, that takes a toll
the family life
on the family in particular. And I think we need to address that as MommyCast. I think, the economy is hitting families very hard in a lot of different ways. I know it's touched you personally. Yeah. It's touched us personally in a lot of ways too. So I think this extreme commuting is just another situation that has cropped up that we have really got to.
Well, it's going to change if I really truly believe that the family is the fundamental building block of society. Mm-hmm. If the family is being affected this way, it is going to affect society in the future. Mm-hmm. And, I think, what were you saying? You were saying earlier, like, what are some things that people can do to stay connected? I mean, I would hate to be the person who had to drive 900 miles away and not see my kids all week.
I kind of feel like, obviously there are certain types of jobs where the person has to be on site.
Right.
I mean, there's just certain types of jobs where that has to be the case. But there are other jobs where maybe that isn't the case. And I would hope that in this situation, when you have an economy like this where people are really, kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, that companies, corporations would take a very hard look at whether they could allow their employees to do some telecommuting.
Right, especially if you've got an employee who lives in another state.
Yeah. I mean, I think there are plenty of jobs out there that could possibly do telecommuting 2 or 3. We have the technology. It's not like the technology isn't there. Mm-hmm. My first concern is for these poor families that are having to endure this. But I think also there's more cars on the road if this is going on, what the pollution situation is. I know here in the metropolitan area of Washington, D.C., it's a nightmare, and it's getting worse.
California's worse.
California is really bad, and that's where I used to live. And I think that, we need to really take a good hard look at, if the economy is such that people are being forced to live very far away from where they are, living, then I think we need the companies and the corporations need to either pay their employees a lot more so they can afford to live in that community, or allow them to do some telecommuting.
Right. And the other side of that coin is, like you said, sometimes you have to be on site. Mm-hmm. The reverse is true. Like, you can kind of telecommute parenting. You can get on the computer and chat with your kids, go over their homework at night, and try to be as much as you can.
We have seen that a lot. We have a lot of friends who are in the military, and I tell you the difference that it has made to be able to video chat your family from Afghanistan or from Iraq or wherever they're
or
deployed.
From a mine in Chile.
Yeah, you know. I mean, that's quite amazing, and that is technology working for the benefit of the family. And I would like to see us really explore the possibilities of what we can do here to help alleviate the problem. Sometimes as a society, we get so entrenched in the way things are traditionally done that we miss the big picture. And I think the big picture has to be preserving the family at all costs.
Protecting the family,
I mean, we really have to do that. And in this time, we all need to pull together. And that means there needs to be some give and take on both sides. And I think if you've got an employee who's willing to make a 900-mile commute, then hopefully the company could maybe meet that person halfway and do some telecommuting, if possible. I know it's not always possible.
Well, if this has affected your family and you have worked out some, great tips, please let us know. You can email us at mommycast@gmail.com, or you can go to our Mommycast Facebook page and post on our wall or start a discussion. We'd love for people to start talking about this issue and talking about ways that they've found to solve this problems, because it's really ultimately what it comes down to is the family being strong. We don't need any more people losing their families, after losing a job and after, we just need to preserve stability as much as we can.
Right. So go to mommycast.com and tell us what you think.